Is this a porn star or is this a horse's name?
Thinking about how you're positioning these. Like, you're going to go porn, and then you're going to go horse. Oh, no way he thinks I'm going to go horse again. Like, I'm in your head.
Who the names a horse 2 in the pink?
These people are going to be like, this dude watches a ton of porn. And the fact is, I actually don't.
What that just told me is you need to lay off Pornhub.com, my friend.
That's crazy. Welcome to The Real Oshow. I'm Zachary.
And I'm Joshua, and we're brothers chasing the curiosities of our life.
And on this show, we'll deep dive the most influential people, music, and topics going on in the world.
And today we're talking about Ryan Garcia and the Kentucky Derby.
I gotta stack out this gold. I tell you I'm on the road. About to get all this dough. Me and no fuck niggas know. I swear to God we the ghosts. This ain't the story they told. Man, if you know, then you know. I never had to tell my dogs that we on rough for breaks. They paper getters, they want money more.
So obviously, if you're on social media at all these days, or if you're a boxing fan, sports fan of any kind, you've been seeing Ryan Garcia cloud your social media pages for the last probably 4 or 5 months. However, pretty much playing a game with everybody about him going crazy, doing drugs, drinking too much. He did admit that he was drinking during camp a little bit because he likes drinking, but for the most part was not crazy. Watched his odds continue to rise because everybody was taking Devin Haney. Places a $2 million bet on himself, ends up winning $12 million, and now after the fact has tested positive for a steroid. That Sugar Sean O'Malley that you told me about tested positive twice, 2 6-month suspensions with that. Josh, do you have any thoughts on what is going on with Ryan Garcia?
It's very interesting. I think this whole scandal with Ryan is all very cloudy, like whether he did do it, he didn't do it. It all seems very odd. And even to me, right? Like, I don't know how steroids work. I'm sure even if you did it like the day of the fight, like you started your cycle, I'm sure you'd feel strong and good.
No way.
No doubt. I mean, I don't know. I've never taken steroids before, but I'm sure instantly you already get like at least an energy bump, right? At the very least, right? We can't say that. But the fact that the whole time leading up to the fight, he was testing negative, doing all these things, it does seem weird. The thing that I said to you that was the most weird was, how do you know that there's a negative or a positive, before the fight and don't say anything till like a week after the fight?
Wait, hold on.
No way.
They found there was a positive before the fight?
Well, it's actually the last drug test. They test you before the fight and after the fight. And apparently Ryan had tested positive before the fight and after the fight, like the last 2 tests, right? Those were the ones that he got caught for, which seemed very odd because he'd been testing all the way prior to that point. What was weird to me is I've taken hundreds, and I'm not even joking, I've taken hundreds of drug tests. They're instant. Like, they're instant. Like, you can find out immediately if someone is now, don't get me wrong, there are deeper lab tests, and that's what they're doing currently. They're going to do like a deeper lab test to make sure it's not like a false positive or whatever. But they know instantly. If Ryan failed a drug test, it wouldn't have taken 10 days, 2 weeks. It would have been instantly, especially when you're talking about Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Like, those are the top of the top. There would be no expense spared on getting this stuff correct.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me that they would let somebody fight with a positive test, but where I've attacked it from and where I've processed it from is I think it's Vegas / deep industry, because he essentially just played everybody and made $12 million on betting on himself with his odds rising. Like plus 600 money line, $2 million. He knew he was going to dominate. And the fact that they still let them fight with a positive test, they say, it's just bullshit to me.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Listen, Ryan played a lot of people. I think there's some very high up, not only in the boxing world, but in the gambling world, like Vegas.
Oh, it's
like
huge.
He set a lot of people off. He pissed a lot of people off. But you got to understand, Ryan, I think, is trying to be like, he's trying to play dumb, but he's a lot smarter behind the curtain, which is a very smart thing. Jake Paul does this. Jake Paul, very smart guy, but he's an antagonizer. He's the heel. He's the guy who he wants you to hate because it sells tickets. It's a good marketing pitch for Ryan. But prior to the fight, you even saw that Ryan was talking about how someone held him down and watched kids get molested.
Yeah.
And he was like, I will put my whole career on this. I don't care if I don't fight again. Like, I want to protect these kids. And then you kind of start seeing all this like weird stuff happen to him.
And that's Boheming Groove, right?
Yeah, Bohemian Grove, which again, tons of people have done stuff on that.
That's a huge piece of this whole thing as well.
And again, I don't want to get part of any of the Bohemian Grove shit. I didn't even touch that with a 10-foot pole. But that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, I just think there's a lot of mystery things that, in a sense, Ryan Garcia is either having a lot of bad luck or someone's out to get him.
No.
And I think it's someone out to get him.
There's no bad luck. It's got to be out to get him. It's definitely the gambling crowd. It's the Bohemian Grove crowd, because he said he's going to go to Congress with the information and videos he has. So that in itself is a dangerous game. Now you play a whole gambling community, especially Vegas, that fucking owns everything. There's a lot there, but I'm more curious what is going to happen in the future with Ryan. Is he going to fight again? How long is his suspension? Because like what I think is going to happen, it's going to be like the Michael Jordan suspension. Michael Jordan at the peak of his career didn't just quit to play fucking baseball. It was a behind closed doors suspension. Bro, he got his dad fucking killed. Like what they're going to do is, Ryan, you're going to go to rehab. You're going to take a fucking hiatus for a year, year and a half, 2 years, let everything blow over. Then you can come fight.
I think that's too much. I don't think it's going to be a year. I mean,
But you
I don't
gotta
think
think
he's
about
going
it.
to fight for
But
a while.
Sugar Sean got 6 months for the steroid. Then you're talking about essentially rigging a boxing match in a way. Like, it's not like he rigged it because he bet on himself. He started to go win the fight.
There's going to be a lot of repercussions, and I think that's where it's going to happen no matter what. Even if like this test becomes inconclusive, something's going to happen. They're going to call, I forget the exact language they use, but it's basically going to count as a no contest. They're going to be like, nothing happened, which then Ryan's going to have to return the $10 million.
12.
But his initial was 2.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, they might take the whole thing and just say, no, you lost the whole bet.
No,
It's,
they
again,
can't do that.
Listen,
No
Vegas
way.
can do whatever the fuck they want. Listen, when it comes to gambling rules, you sign your life away when you hit yes, I accept. And that's the facts. Like, I mean, you're talking about the best thing. If there was no social media, right? There was zero social media, and these gambling companies, you could still gamble online. And say like Damian Lillard plus 30, 35 points for the over. Say he steps on the court, hurts his ankle. They don't have to refund you. They don't have to do anything. They can keep your money, even though it's like, what? He got hurt before the game even started. Doesn't matter. They can hold it. Now, what most companies will do is they'll be like, oh, here's some fan cash, or here's some fun cash, or whatever the fuck they call it, whatever gambling cash there is. And they'll be like, here, you can have this cash, but you have to gamble with it within a couple days, or we're just going to take it back anyway. So it's like, that's the game. So Vegas can do whatever they want. And I think this whole thing's going to come down. I think the gambling thing was like the straw that broke the camel's back, is what we were kind of talking about. He did a lot of things. He pissed a lot of high up people off, a lot of powerful people off. And I think that's why all this is happening. We're going to change topics here. Enough of Ryan Garcia. It's the Kentucky Derby this weekend. Zachary and I know nothing about horse racing, but it's very fascinating to me that this is like probably like the oldest thing people gambled on, was like racing, horse racing, fighting, whatever it is, right? And I'm just very intrigued how the most powerful people in the world go to Kentucky, Churchill's Downs, and gamble on some horses, and how there's like all this stipulation of all these things. But the thing that fascinates me the most are the horse names. Okay,
For sure. And I would say they go to Kentucky, Churchill Downs, because you can get away with anything in Kentucky.
well, you can.
There's no
but
rules.
I think there's a lot of history in Kentucky in horse racing.
And this has to be the whitest sport ever.
100%. But I think originally why they were in Kentucky was, I feel like it was away from everything, so they could gamble. And I think that's why it originated. Again,
Yeah,
that's
there's no
speculation.
rules.
I want to play a game with you because it's obviously Kentucky Derby weekend. So I'm going to give you some names, and you're going to tell me, is this a porn star or is this a horse's name?
Well, I'm going to guess that they're all horses.
No. I did not. I put porn star names in here too.
Okay.
All right. The first one, Big Richard.
That's a porn star.
That is a porn star.
See.
Okay. All right. So first one, Zachary's 1 for 1. And these are like nicknames, right? So it's not
Yeah,
like obviously
of
like their
course.
full name. All right. This one's funny. G Spot, spelled Gee Spot.
That's got to be a horse.
It's a horse.
Yeah.
All right. Two in the Pink.
Jesus. Wow. There's no way that's a porn star name. That's got to be a horse.
That is a horse's name.
Yeah, there's no way
All
that's
right.
a porn star name.
All right. The Slump Buster.
The Slump Buster. Wow. I'm going to go horse again.
That is a horse.
Yeah.
That is a horse.
That's definitely a horse name.
The Bushmaster.
Porn star.
That is a porn star. All right.
God, I would not want to run with that one.
Small hands.
Ooh. That's tough.
This is a tough one.
This is super tough. Because we're talking Kentucky Derby and you're trying to fool me, I'm going to go porn star.
It is a porn star.
Yeah.
All right. Last couple here.
God, these people are going to be like, this dude watches a ton of porn. And the fact is, I actually don't.
What's funny is, dude, that's all I could think about was this guy watches so much porn, he knows everything.
That's not
He
true.
can defer from what's a horse and what's porn star.
Because I'm just...
He's 10. What are you like 7 for 7 right now?
But I'm consciously thinking about how you would
right.
position these
But
and ask me.
I'm just, and there's no, I literally have these in no particular order. I just like,
Bro, there's like
wrote
3
these down.
porn stars I know off the top of my head.
All right.
Maybe. And 0 dudes.
This one I think is tough. Barely Legal.
Oh my God. I think that is a horse name, actually. I've heard that on SportsCenter.
It is.
I've heard that on SportsCenter.
It is a horse's name.
Yeah, I've heard that on SportsCenter.
It is a horse's name.
That's more of like a brand of porn.
Hey. And then this one.
Shout out Drake.
This is actually a good one. You should know this one. Junk in the Trunk.
It could be anything.
But what is it?
Porn star.
Nope, that's the only one you got wrong.
Wow.
That horse ran in the 2000 Kentucky Derby.
Damn. What
Junk
did I go?
in the Trunk.
7 for 8?
You went 7 for 8.
That's pretty good.
7 for 8. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
What that just told me is you need to lay off Pornhub.com, my friend. That's crazy.
Dude, but
that's crazy.
It's honestly, it was easier than I thought because it's like Big Richard. Like, okay, makes sense. But then you're
Big
talking,
Richard could have been a horse. Like
but like
honestly.
but Josh, you gotta understand we're brothers. I'm thinking about how you're positioning these. Like you're gonna go porn, and then you're gonna go horse. Oh, no way. He thinks I'm gonna go horse again. Like I'm in your head.
These are not. I didn't say these in the list that I ordered them in. I just wrote them down, and all I did was I was thinking in my head. I was like 2 in the Pink seems 2 on it, right?
Yeah.
It seemed like 2 on it, but at the same time, I was thinking in my head. I'm like, who the fuck names a horse 2 in the Pink?
But my thought behind that is like, no way a porn star would be like, that's my name. Do you see what I'm saying?
Do you want to know how this horse 2 in the
like
Pink got its
Kendra
name?
Lust? That makes sense.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have said. I would have just said Lust. I wouldn't have said Kendra Lust. You know what I'm saying? I would have only shortened it up, right?
But then that's like misinformation.
But no, it's not, because again, a lot of these guys like Big Richard, like that wasn't his, like that was like his nickname of his real name. I couldn't giving
He's
it the
probably
full
pretty
name.
Big.
I'm sure he is.
If you're big, if your nickname's big in the porn industry, you got a weapon.
2 in the Pink.
But that's not a good porn name. So that's why I said horse. That just like wouldn't make sense.
That apparently came from a Jimmy Carr, who's a comedian.
Interesting.
They were like a big fan of him, and
It is
like,
really
pinked
funny
them.
how they name the horses. What was the one that you said? Barely Legal. I've heard that one.
Yeah.
What race do you have any information about when that horse raced? I've definitely seen that name on SportsCenter.
I could go back and look, but listen, all of these,
Dude, it must be a pun with like a bunch of rich dudes, like how they name their horses. They have these like $20 million horses, and they're like, I'm going to name it Barely Legal. And they just have a jolly old time betting on it.
I don't know if it's like for odds, because like you could probably bet on your own horse.
Oh, you can definitely bet.
I feel like it's maybe to throw people off. I don't know. I was listening to this podcast today, and there was like this crazy horse guy, and he was like, you got to be very psychological with these horses. Like, you got to understand, like, there's 8 horses in a stable. One horse might intimidate all those other horses. And I started laughing. I'm like, bro, I've never thought about that.
That's
but
real though.
It probably is, but I just thought I was like
Super
laughing.
real.
I was like, that's just funny. Like you might have like a specimen horse that's just intimidating.
But if
other
you put
horses.
8 dudes in a fucking jail cell, one's gonna run the shit. It's the same thing.
Yeah, they were saying that there was like these 2 champions one year that were like stabled next to each other, and they would just run the fence against each other, like huffing at each other, being like, "Yo, I'm more alpha," which is kind of funny. Like, wow, it's actually kind of sick, honestly. But
Because if they lose, they get fucking put down.
what was the name? No. Listen, these Kentucky Derby horses, most of them live like the best life, especially if you win like a Triple Crown or a Kentucky Derby, because what you do is you race till you're 3 years old, and 3 is like the peak age. If you're like a sick horse,
You get bred.
all you do is you just fuck the rest of your life. Till you die, you just live in a beautiful place and just fuck. And your sperm is just worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's crazy.
Interesting.
Rick Pitino said, because Rick Pitino owned like a championship horse, and he was like, because he like buys and sells horses, and he like bought a horse for like a couple $1 million and ended up selling it for like $20 million, like tens of millions of dollars, like tons of millions of dollars. And all I could think of was, damn, I want to fucking get in the horse game. Just beautiful horses. What was the name we were trying to look up again? What was
Barely Legal.
Oh,
what
Barely
race?
Legal. 1982 and 1989.
Where did I hear that name? I definitely have heard that
know.
name. I don't know.
That was when it was in the Kentucky Derby. It was in 1982, and then this must be a separate one, but also named Barely Legal, probably Barely Legal 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's probably what
Would have
it
been
was.
1989. So I'm assuming.
I don't know how I heard any of those horse names.
Who knows?
Maybe it was a throwback, because as soon as you said, I knew it was a horse.
Yeah.
So I've heard it somewhere. But dope. If you made it this far and had a little fun with us after kind of a serious topic with Ryan Garcia, we appreciate it. Drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Until next time.
Thank you.
I got a fight for my bros, I gotta stack up this gold. I tell you I'm on the road. About to get all this dough. Me and no fuck niggas know. I swear to God we the ghosts. This ain't the story they told. Man, if you know, then you know. I never had to tell my dogs that we on rough